Caitlin Elizabeth Clark is undefendable. Yeah, she is undefendable. And every time she steps on the court, she makes every single player playing with her better. Period. And I think she is the only player in the WNBA who has that quality. It doesn't mean, relative to the league, that there aren't other players you could classify as great. I will give you that 100%. I am not insulting anyone, but there is a difference, and all y'all who have been basketball fans for a long time, well before Caitlin Clark, you've immersed in the game. Maybe you played, maybe you coached. You know there is a difference between a great player and a player who makes teammates better, not just because they are great, but in other aspects. It's one of those things, where it's kind of hard to explain, but you know it when you see it, when you know the game, and it is a much, much rarer quality to have, making your teammates better simply by being out there than being a great player. And I'm going to try and explain that. And I'm going to show you a few things from the All Star game as to what I mean by that. And what got me thinking about this is someone put out a clip of some plays from Caitlin Clark from the All Star game and talked about all these great qualities that she has, including the entertainment value, right? It all started with the logo threes. A whole lot of other things from Caitlin's game kept people coming back because it was still different than we've ever seen with the women's game. And I would put her basketball IQ, her court vision, and her skill to execute the passes that she executes that we've never seen anywhere else. And all these other things kept people engaged, but it all started with the logo three, and that is always going to get fans going. And so one of the things they mentioned though is that, they say, oh, there's these logo threes, and yeah, she might not be as efficient. And that's when I said, wait a minute, hold up, time out. Caitlin Clark actually is an efficient scorer, more so than most. And I've talked about this repeatedly with using the whole points per shot thing. By the way, her points per shot is a higher number. Last time I checked, and it was before the All Star game, so it shouldn't have changed. But it was something like I think 1.41, something like that. And I think Paige Beckers, and I always use Paige, and no knock on Paige, but just because everyone loves to tell us how efficient Paige is. She's the most efficient player ever. I think she's at 1.35. So, relatively close to each other, but Caitlin Clark generates more points for every shot she takes than Paige Beckers does. So I kind of disagree with this whole idea that Caitlin Clark is not an efficient scorer or efficient shooter, however you want to phrase it. But I would also add this, and this is what I mean about her making her teammates better, which makes the team even more efficient. And a lot of that starts with her logo three shooting ability. Okay. It is a big part of how she make. Now she's got to have these other qualities, right? We talked about her passing and this and that. So I want to show some clips here from the All-Star game and sort of explain it and walk you through what I mean about her efficiency and her ability to shoot these logo threes at a high enough percentage. Okay, she's actually a decent three-point shooter when you factor in her degree of difficulty. My lord, if it was like gymnastics or diving or what have you at the Olympics, and you factored in Caitlin's degree of difficulty to her three-point shooting compared to all the other players in the WNBA, she'd probably be number one in percentage if you adjusted her scores that way. But yeah, let's take a look at this stuff. I'll kind of walk you through what I mean about her efficiency as a scorer, but also her efficiency in terms of what it does for the team because of her ability to shoot the logo three. Now, this first one we're including just for fun because, of course, we want to show the all WNBA first team defensive player of the year for 2026, Caitlin Clark, showing out in the All Star game. Great anticipation, great skill, and my lord, shout out, all praise to God, Caitlin Clark showing how freaking easy it is to make a damn layup. something the rest of the league has not figured out. All right, but the rest of it is going to be what is relevant to this video. Let's break it down. All right, you see where she is. See where she is. You see where that 3-point line is. But folks, this is why they pick her up at 94 feet. Yep, that went in. That went in. There it is. There's where she's releasing. See where she is? Y'all, do you understand? And I think most of you probably do because you're part of the 19, you watch my videos. How much this changes everything in terms of what a defense has to worry about that no other player in the WNBA brings. Yes, there are some others that from time to time shoot once in a while from as far out as Caitlin Clark and even make a couple, although I do recall seeing Gabby Williams in the All-Star game try one and completely airball it. But her ability to make them at the clip she does, which the others do not have, I think her average 3-pointer, I forget if it's career or this year, but I saw this also recently. It was updated. It's like over 28 feet, which is the furthest distance. Her average, I think her average made three, which is a further distance than anyone, WNBA and NBA combined. This is why she has to be picked up from 94 feet. This is why she makes her team better and her team more efficient. When you factor in her ability to shoot from there and the way she passes the damn basketball, that is just it is insane what that does to a team defense that no one else in the league brings. You Caitlin Clark is going to force you to do things that no other team forces you to do and put you at a disadvantage in ways no other team can because of her ability to make the shot from that distance combined with her playmaking ability as a distributor, with her playmaking ability as a passer. You have to very much limit what you do as a defense. And like I've said in other videos, when you miss a shot, you damn sure need to be racing back because Caitlin Clark can get a rebound or her teammate can and give it to her, and she can throw a pass from the foul line on her defensive end to a layup down the other end, and she can fit it into a window like the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, she just doesn't just hit open players who are down the other end, man. I mean, again, we go back to who was it? Who was it to? Was it in the 24 All-Star game? Was it Jonquel Jones on the break that she dropped that pass like a dime, like a quarterback on the bomb right over the defender's hands? When you factor that in, and you factor in her ability to pull up like that, it stretches a defense. It keeps them from packing the paint. You have to pick her up at a much further distance than any other player. You can't get help the way you do with other players because of her playmaking ability. Just by stepping on the court and having that skill, Caitlin Clark completely changes what a defense has to do when she's out there and elevates everything else from her teammates because they have so much less pressure on them. They have a defense that can't defend them in the same way, and they get much better quality shots than they do without Caitlin Clark. No, my mic isn't cut out. I was just waiting for the next one. I thought it came sooner. But again, if we go back, let me see. Let's go. We'll go to this one now. We will go to this. Look at the again. Look where she is. The defense. Now again, it's the All Star game, and I know they were, but we've seen that in real games too, right? You cannot defend Caitlin Clark kind of lazily when she's there because she'll stick it, and boom, and boom. Give her the ball, but again, now where she is, you better pick her up. Defenses have to be aware of Caitlin Clark at all times, and it completely changes. Look where she's pulling up, folks. It completely changes everything about the game. Look at the defenders. I know you can't see the quality. I did so someone zoom Paige Becker's looking at her like So jealous. Jealous of Caitlin Clark, man. She got all the fans and she shoots the logo, and it's just not fair. Look, I mean, my goodness, woman, what are we doing? Hey, by the way, when you're tracking back and Caitlin Clark is actually trailing the play a little bit, you still better pay attention to her even when she's almost at half court. And this one is like, this is a layup for Caitlin. Could you imagine her getting this in the regular season games? Because by the way, folks, this is most of Lexi Hull's. This is most of Sophie Cunningham's. This is most of Kelsey Mitchell's because they have Caitlin Clark on the court as a teammate. Kelsey Mitchell's most efficient season by far in the WNBA was 2024. There is a reason for that. Lexi Hull, remember the second half of the season in 2024 and what her 3-point percentage? I mean, she practically doubled what she had done from her rookie year 2 years before that. That is because of how wide open she is because of having Caitlin Clark on the damn court. Are we starting to understand? Yeah, y'all, you're done here. You're gonna we only need a little like a little kind of screen. Because guess what? Now we got a big lumbering player like most in the WNBA who are gonna come out and guard. Really? You gonna come out and guard Caitlin Clark? Is that what we're doing? Caitlin says, Caitlin says, yeah, I've already got this figured out. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna drift to my left a little bit for my favorite shot from my favorite spot, because ain't no way this woman's defending me. And that's a bucket, and I think that is about the end of that. Now, in that game, Caitlin Clark even shot from distance a little out of Caitlin Clark's range, but that's because that's who she is. It was the All-Star game. She's like, man, these people paid a lot of money. We got to put on a show. She was the only player that seemed to be out there with the idea of the fans in mind, and it's an entertainment thing. The rest of the players did not get that. It was an absolute disaster, even with no defense, some of the worst offense I have ever seen. So I think she was 5 of 15 from 3, I think, which again isn't a terrible percentage. And then you factor in where she was shooting from and the fact that she can do that, and you talk about the fact that that's basically Caitlin in a regular season game, completely changes everything. Changes everything about what a defense has to bring out on the court and makes the rest of the offense of the Indiana Fever that much better simply because Caitlin Clark is on the court. So if you bring all of that into play, Caitlin Clark, 100% the most efficient offensive player in the WNBA. Period. There is no debate. There is no discussion. I'm not even entertaining other nonsense. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Truly do appreciate it. I will talk to you later.